Looking for best Sorceress leveling build in Path of Exile 0.3? Then it's the only one you need. I will go skill by skill, covering every support gem you will need, and of course the scary passive skill tree. Let's start from beginning. What are the first skills you want to create? Basically, whenever you get yourself into Clearfell, you will talk with Renly and he will give you first skill gem. You will only be able to craft skills of level 1, so there is not a lot of skills to choose from. But good part, you don't need loads of them also. First skill you will find will be Spark. The first skill you want to craft will be Flame Wall. Then get yourself Frost Bomb. And if you will find one more gem, you can craft Contagion. What is the build we are going for today? Well, it will be Lightning Sorceress. She is insane in your patch, so you definitely should use it as your leveling strategy. Now, the biggest problem for Sorceress that you may find in a campaign is survivability. Yeah, there's not a lot of ways how you can survive damage in most cases. She is pretty squishy, but I got a pretty useful solution for this. All you need is any scepter. You don't need even like super good one. Just go to Yuna if you don't have one and you may buy it. Sometimes they are pretty costly. You don't need to buy a good one, you just need to buy any one, like any scepter will work. Main thing that any scepter will give you spirit, 100 of spirit. And if you never played Witch, you probably even don't know that you may wield it in off hand, you don't need it in the main hand, because main hand will be your wand. So we're playing with wand and we're playing with scepter, that's our setup for weapons. For wand, you may have any wand you like, it doesn't matter, we're not basing our build around skills that we will get from wand, so just find best wand with best spell damage, extra damage as any elemental type, increased spell damage, stuff like that. And upgrade them when you're going through campaign and leveling. So main idea for this scepter again is to get spirit, and with high enough spirit you will be able to create skeletons. And you also will get 2 skeletons for free, but then you can create also a lot more skeletons. The best part is that these skeletons will basically tank for you. So look at them, they are tanking, they're not doing a lot of damage, but that's not a problem. The problem for us is to survive, and I can survive by doing nothing. That's like a best case scenario. But for you to understand better what's going on, I will unsummon these guys, of course. So that's what's going on. Our first combination of skills is pretty easy and straightforward. We got Spark, which is spell projectile that you fire. There will be multiple projectiles, they will run around, they will bounce off the walls, and will inflict lightning damage. Lightning damage may shock targets. If target is shocked, you will deal extra damage to them, so it's pretty useful parameter. That's how shock looks, basically. Now, what is main problem of Spark, in my opinion, is damage, of course, but we will fix it pretty fast, and also we will completely fix it later. So, we're fixing this damage with none other than Flame Wall. Flame Wall is just insane. It's a flame wall that is standing in front of you. It's doing some damage, igniting targets, but most importantly it adds extra fire damage to projectiles. So Spark is projectile, therefore by placing Flame Wall and throwing sparks, you will see that sparks gaining this fire affinity, and now they will burn targets, they will deal damage over time, and that's pretty good and nice damage buff. However, that's not enough for early game. And biggest problem for us most of the time that sparks will travel all over the place but not hitting our enemies, like this. They will go through the map but never hits enemies we need. That's where next skill comes into play, Contagion. Yeah, Contagion is really nice if you will be able to craft it, and I recommend doing it. Basically it looks like this. You applying it to enemy, and then enemy will take damage over time. Pretty slow damage over time, almost no damage. But if you apply it to enemy basically and destroy enemy, he will spread this Contagion with extra damage, and just Contagion alone can defeat all enemies on the screen in a matter of seconds. You don't even need to attack. It's insane mana saver, it's just very good clearing spell, especially for early game. And of course I told you to make Frost Bomb even before Contagion for one single reason. It's just broken. It's super best spell right now. A lot of people actually panicking because they saw that Frost Bomb got nerfed. Basically damage was halved. We're inflicting only like 50% of damage, and Frost Bomb considered one of the best damaging sources in the game, in the early game. However, for us it's not, and we don't care about damage. We care about exposure. So this is the guide that considering changes to Frost Bomb already, and it will stay for 4 seconds, it will have cooldown of 6 seconds, and it will inflict exposure of 20% initially, and with every pulse, it will pulse of course, it will increase power of our exposure. Exposure is basically a stat like elemental defense reduction, but it's extra stuff on top, you can stack them. And basically you cause this elemental damage reduction, and right now where I am shooting this video, I'm applying cold exposure. However, in 0.3, all exposures is actually combined into one single exposure. Therefore, cold bomb placed over here will increase damage that you inflict with all elementals. And what we have? We have fire elemental, we have lightning elemental at the same time. So our basic combination is Frost Bomb, Firewall, and then shoot your sparks. That's basically how we play. Keep in mind, this will also leave Spirit. So yeah, after Frost Bomb expires, it will leave Spirit Infusion. You can take it, and now your sparks will also be enchanted with cold damage. So that's our main biggest combination. It's pretty powerful and will be like super powerful in this patch. By using this combination, you can easily defeat boss in the Red Veil and get Uncut Skill Gem for level 3 skills. However, before we talk about the skills, let's talk about our support gems, so what we're using on our skills. You will find these Uncut Support Gems from quests and also just lying around in chests, dropping from monsters, and you may apply it to your skills. For example, Spark will kind of provide you with ideation that maybe you want Pierce, Conduction, Zeniths, and you don't want any of those. What you want actually different ones. So on PC it will be over here, and I'm on PC right now, but I'm using controller. But on console you will have just button, correct button. You press it and you will see all support gems that you may like, and also they will change names of them. So easiest way to find is to search for cast speed basically. Cast speed will be Arcane Tempo, of course. Right now it changed rapid casting or something like this, but of course we're looking for higher casting speed. It just increases your quality of life, and you may use same support gems on all your skills, so basically applying casting speed to every skill is okay. But for example, even for Spark, you probably will like to inflict more damage instead of just casting it faster. Therefore there is a bunch of options. Some not very obvious ones, like Persistence. It will increase duration of sparks, and the more they travel, basically the more chances they got to hit your target. Same goes for Acceleration. The faster they travel, the more distance they will travel, and more chances to hit the target again. But you may start with something like Controlled Destruction. You will have more hit damage, but you cannot deal critical hits. That's completely not a problem for now, because critical hits is really good in the late game. In early game you just want more hit damage, more stable damage, you want to deal loads of critical hits. That's basically what you want to have on Spark most of the time. On Flame Wall I really like to use Fortress. It will make Flame Wall in a circular pattern, so a lot more sparks from all directions will always be enchanted, especially against bosses. It's pretty useful. For Frost Bomb, just increase duration. When you level up a little bit, increase exposure effect, and that's it. For Contagion, don't worry. If you're lucky and you got bunch of support gems, you can use Swift Affliction on Contagion and Persistence to have more duration and deal more damage. And that's it, basically. You don't need to deal anything else. Now, what happens when we level up a little bit and get to level 3 skills? Well, there's a bunch of options, and of course as Lightning Sorcerer we will go for Orb of Storms. And that's insanely great skill that will instantly increase our build power. For Orb of Storms we're going again with Persistence to make it staying for longer. This skill should be renamed also Lightning Exposure. It will inflict lightning exposure for 8 seconds on shocking a target. So it's optional because we will use Frost Bomb as our exposure source, and it will expose for all elements. This support gem will also have name changed. Funny options is actually using something like Overabundance to increase limit. So here is idea basically behind this Overabundance support gem. Normally you may place only one Orb of Storms. That's how it looks like. That's basically Orb of Storms, and it will strike enemies with lightning from time to time. Let me find Mr. Zombie so he will show you. You see, it stays and it fires lightnings like from time to time. Almost no damage. But when you strike with spells inside of this first bolt, it's actually storm bolt, sorry. It's actually fires. It's actually fires extra projectile. So I'm not hitting these guys with sparks, but this orb starts to strike lightnings on enemies every time I cast lightning spells inside. Coolest part, it will also drop lightning infusion in the next patch. Therefore, our combination will look like this. We drop ice, fire, bolt, and start doing our sparks. We will get this lightning infusion. The next time we will do this combination, we will basically have this wall enchanted with lightning, and our lightning sparks will have extra lightning damage, and that's just completely broken, so it's just super good extra damage. Now, just like that, you will go into the game and you will find Spirit Gem in Village of Freytorn. Spirit Gem for this build will be one of the two. It will be either Mana Remnants or Arctic Armor. I like survivability and I go for Arctic Armor most of the time. It just active buff, it will stay on you. I recommend dropping something like Glaciation on top to increase freeze build-up. Some of other support gems will require you to have extra spirit. Luckily, we're using Scepter in our offhand and we will have a lot more spirit than we need. So Clarity is our choice, it will increase our mana regeneration. And this setup is pretty crazy. Arctic Armor is really powerful one, you just stay and enemy will hit you and they will be frozen and actually they will be down. And this is already pretty neat setup. How you play with this in terms of passive skill tree? Well, basically we start with spell damage, and going to increase spell damage of course, and our main focus will be lightning damage with this build. So we spending bunch of points to get extra lightning damage over here and increased chance to shock. But we're not going forward, instead we will turn right and get more casting speed. It's nice quality of life, it will speed up your progress faster, it's just great node. Then we will go on top and you will have more maximum energy shield, increase energy shield regeneration rate, and also I like to take this plus 20 maximum mana and increased mana regeneration rate. Energy shield is your best source of defense most of the time, so definitely make sure you get some nice energy shield gear, and this also helps. From this point, we're basically going to the right side. Ignore this stuff when you're leveling. My character is a little bit high level right now and I'm already investing in critical hit chance, but you don't need it. What you need is actually to make a decision. Most likely you will make decision to go into top right and get more increased elemental damage and all these nodes over here. So basically, if you chilled enemy recently in last 4 seconds, you will have 30% increased elemental damage, and over here is the same node for shock, over here same node for ignite. The craziest part about my build, again, you will chill, ignite and shock enemies constantly, therefore by taking all these 3 nodes you will not just double your damage but even like almost triple it, because there's extra elemental damage nodes, bunch of 30% increasements, and that's just insane. That's super powerful part. And this will be your setup for Act 1. Then you need to understand if you're losing mana, if you're having any mana problems. If so, then over here will be mana regeneration and power of shock. That's super powerful stuff. Magnitude of shock will make shock more powerful and enemies will take more damage. And if you're not having any mana problems, maybe you're lucky or you're not spamming buttons a lot, then go to the top right and then get over here chances to shock, damage, casting speed with lightning spells, and from here go into this highway and then to this lightning damage node over here. So that's our basic like passive skill tree build. Later in the game you just want to invest in critical damage nodes, critical spell nodes, spell casting nodes, casting speed and stuff like that, and you will be fine. To survive, of course, go for maximum energy shield. It's pretty close to you to get all powerful energy shield nodes, and also passive skill tree will have loads of extra nodes. So you can search over here, just go casting speed, you can go lightning and look for all lightning damage and stuff like that. Now, when passive tree is out of the way, let's actually talk how you defeat the last boss of Act 1. And well, after defeating Executioner, you will unlock level 5 skill gem. You will need to go back to Clearfell, and that's where you will craft Arc. I would just forget Spark completely and pick only Arc. For Arc you want to get more casting speed, of course. Controlled Destruction also will work. It's again pretty good, we don't need critical hits yet. And if you don't want casting speed, then your option is actually Unleash. Unleash is great, it will deal less damage from reoccurring skills, but basically when you're not spamming this skill a lot and sometimes you're not spamming, you will get charges over here. So right now I got 2 charges. This means I will create not 1 but 3 sparks at the same time, and it's pretty crazy. It's a lot of extra damage and that's great. Now, what's going on with Arc actually? So Arc will be projectile spell. Therefore, if it's projectile spell, you will be able to use Arc through this fire and to deal extra fire damage. At the same time, you will be able to use this infusion to have more chains with Arc. You still will apply elemental exposure, so Ice Bomb is still viable and it will slow enemies down. Most importantly, it will chill enemies down, because it basically chills enemies almost instantly when it blows up, so it's super useful skill for us. Now, what else do we need to finish our build? Technically, we just need extra ways to improve our damage. One of them will be elemental curse. All these 3 curses will be combined together and you will have increased damage to all these sources. That's again pretty powerful stuff for my build, therefore conductivity is definitely one of our choices. To increase power, you just need to use what actually increases power of this curse or increases area. So heightened curse will work. Later in the game it will be curse the ground, it will be ritualistic curse, but early in the game stuff that increases area. So stuff like magnified effect. I just lost all my uncut support gems for leveling builds, so I can't even show you this, but stuff that increases area will work. And last but not least is Mana Tempest. Mana Tempest is buff, so it's spirit, but it unlocks later in the game, towards end of Act 3, somewhere over here. It will empower your spells, you will be more powerful lightning mage, it will drain your mana, but again it's not a problem with this build most of the time. You will already have nice mana regeneration, but here how it works, and here is support gem you want to use. Premeditation, it will increase power damage of empowered skills, and it's empowering spells, but I hope it works. Who knows? Tell me in the comments. But the skill itself works, of course. Basically, you stay in this area, you shoot, and you will shoot a lot more powerful, but your mana will drain, so you just need to exit this area from time to time, and your mana won't be drained really fast. So just stay over here, shoot lightnings, and demolish your enemies. Full combination, again, it will be lightning orb, exposure, fire, curse, then going into Tempest, and then melting enemy with few hits. Focus on upgrading spells, and this build is not very like gear specific. If you're going to the late game, plus level 2 lightning skills is just must have, and towards end game you may start noticing that you already have a lot of energy shield. You don't need survival from your scepter, from your zombies, basically skeletons, and you may switch into focus, which will also have plus level 2 spell skills, which may have casting speed, mana regeneration and stuff like that. But that's basically the build. I hope you enjoyed it and you will have blast playing this sorcerer in the next patch. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and see you in the next ones.